Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Navigating Leadership. We are here tonight on a Sunday night to do our Principals Roundtable, one of the most exciting nights of the week for me. My name is Dean Packard. I'm the principal of Charlton Middle School in Charlton, Massachusetts. And Sunday nights for me is something special. Anytime that you can come together with other principals from around the country and discuss topics that are germane to the job that we do every day, we're all better because of that. At this time, I'd like to kick it over to my good friend and co-host of Unlock the Middle, Principal Chris Starcheski. Chris, how are you tonight, my friend?
Great, Dean. Thanks for the lead in tonight. And, as you mentioned, unlocking leadership is navigating leadership is an experience where we get to connect with colleagues from around the country and talk about real pertinent issues, that are timely and relevant to our work. We happen to be in the midst of a wonderful, and I say wonderful, summer vacation, which isn't really a vacation at all. It's a preparatory time to open up the school year. And we're going to be hitting a couple topics tonight that are very important to us as individuals, but as a collective group and as a collective educational community. So I'm pretty fired up. We have a couple of old faces with us, not like you and me being old, but regulars. But we do have a couple of gentlemen who are joining us for the first time tonight. David Medina, I'd like to kick it to you first and have you introduce yourself to the crowd. Who are you, where you're from, and what's something that fires you up?
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me here. My name is David Medina, proud principal of Eastwood Knowles International. This is my 11th year as a school administrator. So the second year here at the campus that I'm currently serving in right now, which is a K-8. And again, I had the experience of 9 years at an elementary, and now I'm starting my second year in a K-8. So getting a taste of that middle school, and I tell you what, I love it. It is. I was one of those who thought I'm going to be an elementary principal, for as long as I can. And then I got that taste of last year, and a crazy year as it was, got the taste of middle school, and I'm really loving it. So definitely excited about being here. And again, I appreciate you all having me.
Awesome. Thank you, David. How about you, Jeremiah? Who are you? Where are you from? And what drives you?
Hello, everybody. I'm Jeremiah Oliphant. I'm the proud principal at Bussey Middle School, affectionately known as Bussey Nation in Garland, USA. Very excited to be here to talk amongst my brother in the leadership world. This is my third year serving at Bussey Nation, my 7th year in administration. A little bit about me. I'm originally from Natchitoches, Louisiana. It was about 50 minutes to an hour south of Shreveport, I-49. Go Northwestern State University. Stayed in Louisiana for 10 years, lived in the Midwest for a couple years. Been in Garland, USA since 1994 as a student, as a parent, as a taxpayer, as a principal, etc. So I'm very, very excited to be here. I am the typical at-risk student. Little fun fact about me, both of my parents were 14 when I was born. Wow. And so at school, at the secondary level, middle school and high school, when you're talking to the students and, you get close to the students, you tell them your story, they're like, oh, you can relate to me. So I'm very happy about school improvement and giving students opportunity and believing them and just showing them that it's another way. So once again, I'm so excited to be here and I look forward to this evening.
Great awesome stuff. Thank you, Jeremiah, for being here, man.
Let's take it down to South Florida. You know who that is. Here he comes.
JP.
JP, quick introduction.
What's going on, fellas? How you doing? Joe Pizia here from Eagles Landing Middle School, located in Boca Raton, Florida. Very large middle school, very large district. That's nothing at a bragging point. We're just continuing to move as pack of elephant here, and that's just the way we go. But other than that, I'm ecstatic about the start of the school year. I can't wait to see the kiddos and get them back into school and just try to continue to persevere through all these different things and just get them back in our building to everything we can and work outside the box on everything that comes. I'm looking for the curveball and hitting the fastball, baby. I'm looking forward to a great year.
Love it. Let's kick it over to Spike.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Spike Cook. I'm principal at Lakeside Middle School in Millville, New Jersey. That's down in the south part of Jersey, and really looking forward to our discussion tonight and the topic and learning from everybody.
Good stuff. Principal Tovar.
Everybody, hello. We're Josh Tovar, Memorial Pathway Academy here, done with our first week of school. rocking and rolling, making sure that our kids are engaged, making sure that we support our teachers and ready to get this learning from all this PL and online. Thank you for the support this week, guys. I got all those texts, and everybody out there that already started school, high five to you. Those of you that are about to start school, another high five to you.
Good stuff. Kick it over to AJ.
What's going on, everybody? AJ Bianca here, Vice Principal at Eastbrook Middle School in New Jersey. I'm on the northern part, I guess. Excited to have this conversation. Missed you guys last week. I was on a vacation with my family. I can't wait to see Chris's notes. I want to see what he took when I wasn't around. So we'll have to share afterwards. We'll see what you got.
Good stuff. Hey, so let's get right into this, man. The first thing we want to talk about, and this came up in our discussion that came out towards the end of the week, is the principal's superpowers. And I'm trying to think about that for a second, man. What kind of superpower do we have as leaders in our building, man? And I'm thinking about that and some of the things that, Josh, you threw out there in our text messages. We probably won't get into that part of it because I think it was pretty cute. But let's talk a little bit about, from your perspective, what type of superpowers do you have? And what do you think that you're known as from the principal's seat? And let's kick that off with, let's start with Josh first, and we'll work it around.
Well, as we talked about superheroes, and I'm going to mention it, for all those in Mexico and Latin America, Calimán, the power of Calimán. Oh, and just before anything, please share this broadcast, make comments, let us know what your thoughts are as we share out in the round table. Calimán, yes. And I think that one of the superpowers he has that I can connect with is the ability to have ESP, making sure that I find out that body language, that whole culture and climate thing, is to make sure that it doesn't go on a negative. It's one of those things that you got to be in every classroom, in every hallway, at the greeting at the very beginning of school, making sure you're there to see what the climate is, especially on a Monday. Because you know the body language will tell you. All it takes is 15 seconds. 15 seconds to know if that student or that team member is having a good day or a bad day. So I think that's exactly the superpower that I have right now to start off with.
Let's kick it over to Spike.
Well, a lot of times I'll say I'm using my spidey sense. So I just try to, like, a little bit like what Josh was saying, like you can kind of walk through the halls. You can kind of, get that sense of how things are going. I think others have said I have some sort of superpower of doing, just showing up, the ability to one day after another to just be there, be present, which I think is a huge thing. And then, maybe a little twist of, some, maybe a miscalling, being a marketer, and all the different things that we try to do to tell our story, as a middle school.
Joe, kick it over to you.
Hey guys, sorry about that. I'm sitting here and I'm just thinking, I'm hearing everything you guys are saying, and I wish I had all these powers put into one. I'm wondering how to really encompass all this. I could be honest with you. Right now, I don't know if it's a superpower or just really kind of being like Rocky Balboa and just being able to take every hit that comes to me and keep moving forward. Because it's not about how hard you hit, like you said in the movie. I don't know the exact quote for my Philly fans out there, but I can tell you, he said, life ain't about how hard you get hit, how hard you can hit. It's about how many times you can get hit and keep moving forward. So that's me. Okay, I'm working with all the crew. It's grit, it's resilience, and we want that to roll off to our students and keep moving forward.
Jeremiah.
Oh, yes. Thank you for the time. Shout out to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think the superhero, and it's debatable if he's a superhero or not, I think he is Captain America. I often tell the staff I'm not the strongest. I'm not the fastest. I wasn't the best teacher in the classroom. But I am, I would say, accomplished in all areas. And I do a good job of listening and leading people in the right direction. I lead with love, laughter, and I just take charge. And so I do a good job of also listening. It's important that as leaders that we listen attentively to our staff so we know what's going on and we adjust accordingly. But my biggest superpower, I feel, is that I empower them to do the right thing based on the data we've collected and let them know that I trust them, but I will verify. So thank you.
Great stuff. David.
Oh, I think definitely, and I apologize if I'm a little choppy here, but I definitely think it's Grace under pressure right now because like Jeremiah was saying, there's so much that is thrown at us, and last year every day was something completely different. And it's the ability to still have that forward thinking. And we still have a mission, right? Is to educate our kids. And they added a safety component that we've never seen before. And so I think the ability to continue to lead your team forward, still have that mission and that drive. I think that's one of the biggest things that, as far as a superpower I can think of right now, is like, you know what, regardless of what's happening, we've got a mission to accomplish with our kids.
Good stuff. AJ.
Yeah, so I'm gonna roll with Jeremiah on this one. He said Captain America. He's a Marvel guy, so I'll let that slide for the moment. But you know, we talk about integrity, right? And Captain America is all about integrity. My guy, I go DC and I go Superman, right? That beacon of hope, that understanding, that person who's always out in front. You know, I'm not totally there yet, being out in front and being like that figure, but I want to be. You know, I want everybody to look at me as that model of consistency and being that model of just, you know, I'm not backing down. You know, whatever you need, I'm there. I'll do it for you. I'll help you out. But you know, for me, if I had a superhero power, I like to connect. You know, I like to be with people. I like to kind of bring people together. So that's my personal superpower.
Good stuff, Chris.
Hey, you know, while I do have a fantastic hat on, Mel, thanks for noticing tonight. Yeah, this is a Sesame Street hat, just so you know. When I was down at Sesame Place back, you know, I mean, you guys in Jersey know where that is, I imagine, Langhorne, Pennsylvania. I think, you know, as I think superhero, I'm listening to everybody talk, you know, Dean, and what I hear, just, you know, great open minds who understand that it takes much more than a self to run and roll. It takes a community. I think, you know, one of the things that I pride myself on, though, is seeing potential, understanding that there is opportunity. You know, when I look at the kids, I see mathematicians, I see writers, I see mechanics, I see engineers, I see historians, I see scientists waiting to discover. They're only middle school, but, you know, seeing potential in, you know, in ways, seeing the future. I think that's something that's that I hold dear to my heart as an educator. And you know, it might not be a superpower, but it's having that outlook and the ability to see beyond and come back to those roots. You know, this Sesame Street hat has a lot of meaning for a lot of reasons. You know, and I'm not getting into that right now. How about you, Dean? Your superpower and where you go?
Listen, man, you know, I'm hearing you guys, Captain America, Superman. I mean, all these things. That stuff's fantastic. I kind of consider myself like Aquaman. I'm swimming below the surface. I'm there, and what I'm trying to do is when I come up for air, I'm just making sure that I can to empower everybody and ensure they get what they need. I need to stay below everything and then stay on top of it when I come out. And again, the best one I can think of is Aquaman. So again, superpowers, characters, all that stuff. We wear many hats as leaders, and it's so cool. At the end of the day, it's still about connecting. It's still about empowering, and it's still about ensuring that people have the tools to be successful. So good stuff. Switch gears very quickly. Dr. Spike Cook wrote a great blog this past weekend about climate and culture amidst the pandemic regulations that we have in front of us. Spike, let's kick it down to you for a second. Let's talk about that blog that you did. Absolutely amazing. You hit it spot on. So I don't want to steal your thunder. So let me just toss it to you.
Oh, thanks for the kind words. I appreciate it. You know, I guess, you know, I thought a lot about this, obviously, over the last year and a half, like we've all been dealing with, you know, different issues. And what prompted me to start writing about it was that in the beginning part of the summer, you know, for us, you know, we were focused on, you know, doing a, you know, very extensive climate and culture workover on our you know, on our school, you know, examining, and I've talked about it on previous shows, just examining every aspect, working with a consultant and examining every aspect of it. And then, you know, the little thing in the back of the room that wasn't making much noise at the time was, you know, the pending, you know, how are we going to open the school with the pandemic? And in New Jersey, just over the last couple of days, our governor said that, you know, we're going to be going back to everybody's wearing masks. And, you know, over the summer, we had given, you know, there was a lot of choice. And I think, you know, a lot of districts, you know, we were doing that, you know, allowing choice. You know, as far as that's concerned, but I noticed, you know, going back to, you know, the question that you had asked about superpowers, like, you know, I just remember over the beginning, you know, of last year, just looking at like, how do you do climate and culture, you know, when you're 6 feet apart, you're 3 feet apart, you're behind, glass, you're behind masks and things like that. And, we, as a school, we really tried to do things differently. I've talked about that before, like getting out into the homes and doing a lot more visits and, highlighting things, more on social media and our blog and things like that. But it's difficult, and I just sort of brought that up as like something for us to kick around, because I'd love to see what everybody else is doing. So, the whole message for, that blog post was just to look at, how are we going to do this again? Because there's a lot, this has become very political. It's become, there's a lot of different factors that are out there, and as school principals, we're going to be, held to, to follow those regulations, but then to also do the things that we know we need to do, which is the climate and culture. How do people feel? What do people believe in? How do we, recognize and reward the things that are going on in this? So I just kind of brought that up, and I know that, I want to learn from it and, see what everybody else is doing.
I'm just going to interject before we kick it off to somebody else. And I'm always thinking in the back of my mind, even though we're in the midst of the pandemic, we still have a responsibility to ensure that we have learning that every student can access, and to that level and what it's going to look like. So speaking with Joe earlier, he made a great point by saying, listen, nothing's going to stop us now, man. There's a song that says we're going to come at it. We're going to love our kids. We're going to make sure our kids feel comfortable walking in the building. We're going to show them how much we care, and the learning will take off. And I'm not worried about that so much. But I am worried about the regulations and what it's going to look like, because I do think, and even in our building, we've got some soft regulations at this point in time. We'll meet as an administrative team at the end of this week, but I'm sure that something more concrete is going to come out prior to us opening our doors. And again, soft stuff what we're talking about is like K-6 wearing masks, okay, and everybody else not, unless you have a weakened immune system. So I guarantee there's going to be something more holistically coming out down the road. So let's kick it over to Joe, because Joe, you talked about that earlier.
Yeah, and Dean, I'm going to be quite honest with you. It's not that I'm into any kind of wondering if something's going on, but it seemed like they let us enjoy our summer before they hit us right before we came back, and things got real fast. So as that time gets closer for other school districts and schools to open up, things may start to, head that direction. So just being prepared. I think, from everything that we spoke about just thus far, it's really, and Josh points to this all the time, they're going to be looking at us. They're going to be seeing how we respond to this adversity, and we have every opportunity to be a leader in these points. The thing about these times when they take place, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, the things that we have encountered as principals just over the last 3 to 5 years have all given us opportunities to lead. That's not something we get to do much. We usually have to take the mandates, take the statutes, and we put it into perspective. Now we've got to rely on our capability to lead and be out in front. So I want to take advantage of this moment, as leadership doesn't present itself much for us to thrust ourselves forward. It's not something I want to be excited about, but we cherish these moments as leaders. Let's continue to do that. And with the changes coming up, guys, I'm sure that much more information is going to be coming out soon. I'm hoping that this virus can take a dip back down so that we can truly start to enjoy some time with our kids, and really just take a step back. We've been through this before. This isn't the first time. There's going to be more kids in the schools than we had before, and we're going to have to really think about that and how we can make the environment the best that we can. Outside the box while you're inside the box. Keep working it and you'll get it through. I promise you.
Yeah, not hitting the panic button, ensuring that, we have safe places set up for kids. And we do that every day as principals anyway. Jeremiah, let's kick it up to you.
Yes, as building leaders, we're the thermostat of the building. If it's too hot, we turn the temperature down. If it's too cold, we turn the temperature up. However, all of us have homes, and everybody has access to the thermostat. So what we tell the teachers is, you have the greatest impact on climate and culture. And what I mean by that is a simple math equation. 60 teachers in the building, estimating 60 teachers in the building, 4 administrators, including myself. The teachers see the kids for a bare minimum 45 minutes each day, and we're there because of the kids. So if something is wrong, that's when you partner with administration, and we support you, okay? And so if there's a question about what's going on, you definitely partner with administration, and you move forward. With that being said, things are going to happen. Change is inevitable. Another thing that we share to the staff: change is inevitable. However, change or challenges without solution is catastrophic. And so we empower them to be those change agents for the students. We another one of our sayings is, if this was right for kids, you don't ask for permission, you ask for forgiveness later. If it's not right for kids, then don't do it.
Love that. David, want to pick up after that one?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the words that we used a lot last year with the pandemic was, and it was from Friends, the show Friends, was pivot, because it seemed like every time we started going in directions, something would come our way, and I'd say, okay, everybody, pivot, and that was just kind of the way that we lived our lives last year. And it, I think more than anything, it helped teachers broaden their scope, because everybody kind of has this, tunnel vision of, I've got to take care of this, I got to take care of this. This is the only way I got to go. And this really helped them to see and expand their opportunities, expand their abilities to reach kids in different ways. I mean, we pretty much were virtual in Isleta ISD all year long. We started bringing kids back, in larger numbers in January. And again, somebody was talking about the fact that, in the summer, they kind of gave us this idea or this impression that we're going to go back to normal. Well, we started last week, and kind of things, quote unquote, went back to normal. It's full building. Everybody's back. Friday afternoon, we got a text, hey, we got a meeting. All the district gets together. And guess what? We're going to pivot again, because things are happening that are out of our control. And I think that's the biggest thing that teachers have to understand. And going back to them, hearing it from us as leaders is, things are going to change. Don't get cozy with what's going on right now, because very well, we're going to have to pivot at some point in time. And here we are, week one, and we already have to pivot a lot from where we started. So I think, again, being out in front, sharing that with them. There's nothing that we can hide from them right now. We have to be, just able to talk with them about anything and be available for them at any time. Because as scared as they were and probably still are, we have to be that calming force to be there that is going to help them, push through the challenges, because they're going to be there, and we never know what's going to happen tomorrow. And so I think it's just a matter of, I love that word, it's pivot, because we have to do that a lot lately.
Well, we're on Delta in the Greek alphabet, and there are quite a few more letters to go. So I would assume that COVID's not going away, but we need to know what we know about it and all the tools that we had prior to this. So pivot, yes, and I would tell you this: any school district's going to be looking at the same thing, no matter where you go. Dr. Tovar, down in the lower corner here.
I just think that it's the consistency that we created last year, and it's going to build upon itself. Whatever rituals and routines that you establish sitting in that chair that you sit in, and the assistant principals, it's crucial that you maintain the consistency of whatever pattern of behavior you had, whatever vision that you had, that the team felt lock and step with the best interest of kids. Like Jeremiah said, if it's in the best interest of kids, we're going to do it. But most importantly, if it's in the best interest of the culture of the campus. So whatever we've done up to this point, we just continue building on it. And that's why we have these great opportunities. Part of the in-service that we held last week in our home had to do with creating those professional learning networks, making sure that they find other avenues for success, because we all went through it. The whole country went through it, and other people came up with great tools for success. And that's what our business is all about. Beg, borrow, and steal ideas from each other and bring it into our collective. So all I would say is that all of us sitting in our chairs is built upon the rituals and routines that we've established. And if we didn't build rituals and routines and there's bad culture, then you know what? That's the main chair's fault. Because regardless of, we all know this, sooner or later, climate and culture starts and ends. Alpha, Omega is with the main chair. Because we're always going to be seen as, how are people looking upon us? Our vision. How are kids looking at us? Are we there pulling our hair out? Are we there smiling, but really screaming inside? Are we pivoting on the inside, making sure that we don't come across as not in control? And that's one of the things that I feel that everybody that sat in our chair last year did. They were able to do. They held a successful collective together. So right now, we just build upon it. Because, like all of us have said, we've all done a great job building community. Now we don't let go, because you know what? Delta, Echo, whatever you want to go, the next letter is going to come up. And we know that's going to happen. And now that half the country is not going to be using masks, you know that flu is going to come around. So what's going to be the difference between flu and COVID?
Yep.
So those are the kind of things that right now, as I think that we said this a couple podcasts ago, and I said it. I'm not preparing at the end of last school year for next week. I was preparing for that tsunami that's coming in right now, and that's the only way we're going to get through it is just like Mel said, stronger together.
Love it. AJ, kick it over to you.
Yeah, we thought last year was difficult when we were going through this, and there was so much unknown. I think there's more unknown this year, and I think it's very easy for our staff to come into the building and kind of be shut down before they even get started. However the year ended last year, whether it was positive or negative, they had the summer off where they kind of just stopped working, stopped thinking about school, stopped focusing on it, and now they're going to get started again. And I think it's our job really to kind of set that culture and climate from jump. And I think Spike's article was really, really powerful because it's so simple. You can read it and not simple-minded, just simple. Like these are the things you can do tomorrow as soon as the day begins. It's really, really, really easy. Being transparent, being there for your teachers, being flexible. Those are some of the ideas that he shared, but it's very easy for our teachers to come into the building on day one and just say, I'm over this. Last year was so difficult. I don't want to do this again. How is it going to change? We're still using technology. We still have kids, in rows. They're not able to work together in groups. So I think really we have to all be in this together and really show that we're not above our staff, that we're with the staff, that we're all kind of, the quote that I saw the other day is, we're not in the same boat. We're in the same storm. So, let's just keep battling as much as we can together and make them feel that we are there in the classroom with them as much as possible. And like I said, check out Spike's blog, because I really think, those 5 points to consider to start the year, even leaders or teachers, it's very easy to do and very, very simple that you can put in your classroom if you're not in a leadership role.
Yeah. And you know what? We're all in leadership roles, even from the teacher standpoint. You're a leader, whether you don't realize that or not. You're conducting a ship and you're coaching up to 100 kids. So that makes you a leader. So you have to understand the finer points of what we're all trying to accomplish here. Speaking of the finer points, this is a question that I didn't send out to all of you. As you're thinking about your kids matriculating back into your school, what are some of the ways you're connecting with them to make them feel comfortable and letting them know that they're going to be safe and that you've got their back and you're going to work with them? And where do you want to start off with this one? I know someone who's really good at it. Let's start off with Josh, and we'll go full circle.
I think, like I stated earlier, I continue the same pattern of greeting the kids at the door, and then depending on what the body language was, the majority of the kids that are arriving to MPA, they're wearing their mask. So I'm playing it by ear. Let me see how they feel. And so whenever I do have one-on-one conversations, either with the adult or with the student, I ask them, do you want me to put my mask on? I let them know that I want them to feel comfortable in regards to that. Because the most important part is we all know that most of the communication we do as administrators is body. Our body language speaks a volume. So I know that weapon was taken away from us with a mask. So I want to have my mask off to where the kids understand, especially kids that I didn't have last year. They don't know who I am. They have no idea what I bring to the table in regards to support. And now that they're going to be in our home, they got to know that I'm there for them and I got their back. And body language is crucial to making those connections with kids. So part of that is making sure that you continue the classroom visits every day. And you see on social media what I do every Monday. Every kid in the school gets a lollipop with a message for the week. Things like that. Those kind of traditional things that we have established at that campus to make sure that we got their back. Now that they're here at MPA, our campus, is that we're there to support them. And we've established still the whole area, the losses. We have to maintain a certain number of tables with a plastic guard up. But teachers also, they play. I've noticed that teachers walk around with their masks on. It's a room by room situation. I don't know about you, Jeremiah, and I don't know about you, David, since you already started. But I think we're pivoting every second. Every classroom is totally different. But you know what? Let me let you know is that after the first week, we have a part of our campus that are students that had a lot of adversity at the traditional school, teen parents, that kind of situation. And then I had close to 50% of them with perfect attendance. They showed up all 5 days. For that type of student to come back every day, and all they did was virtual last year. They feel comfortable coming back to us. So something is happening there that they feel good going to us. So I felt awesome as an administrator coming home on Saturday, making sure that the majority of the campus felt good.
Great stuff. Spike, kick it over to you.
Yeah. So one of the things that we're going to do in just a few weeks, because we really don't start until September. We have a traditional, 6th grade new student orientation, which we put on hold last year just because of everything. And since we, at the time, I think we knew, I'm not sure. It's so confusing. If we knew we were going all virtual at the beginning of the year, I think we went virtual till like October 13th. So we forwent the move-in, as we call it. But we are going to do that this year. And by popular demand, we have 7th and 8th graders who've never even stepped foot in our building, right? So they were out all virtual, maybe since, elementary school or something like that. So anyone 6th, 7th, and 8th will be able to attend that night. We'll have their schedules ready and lockers, and have kids available to do tours and teachers and things like that. So that's going to be really important to really set the stage. So that's something. And then, in the first couple of weeks, just making sure that we're, really taking the time to get to know everybody and then build those relationships. A lot of the teachers reported that when they were in all of something last year, whether it was all virtual or all in person, it was easier to create community. When we were doing the hybrid, it was much more challenging because you have, 8 to 10 kids in front of you, 8 to 10 kids online. And it was super, super challenging. But I know that when I was doing observations, and I think everybody would agree, our teachers did amazing stuff. I mean, they're juggling with, 8 balls in the air, and they're using their feet and their shoulders and everything they can to keep the balls going. So, that was really reflected in the way that they could pivot, talk about what David said. I said that so much that they all got like shirts, like in the front office, like these pivot shirts and stuff like that. So we were doing the same thing. So we have to really, continue to have that emphasis on, what we are about, mission, vision, values, and goals. We're still going to continue, with that, and a new recognition system that we're going to utilize this year. Now, one of the things that will be challenging, and I'm curious to see what others are thinking about, because we were planning this stuff, like, some different events and, trips and things like that. And I'm not exactly sure what we're going to be able to do with that. So we want to make sure that we're setting incentives, that kids are going to want to strive for, because they're going to want to know what those things are. So that's some of the stuff that we're going to have to figure out. But sort of like what Josh was saying, greeting kids in the beginning of the day, and, and hopefully, and this was an issue, I'm just being honest, at our school, is the mask wearing. Proper mask wearing was required, and it will continue to be required in our school, and it sounds like our entire state. So we did have issues with that, where we would have to, call home, talk with kids about proper mask wearing, and try to use that progressive discipline model. And because it can get difficult. The last thing that I'll say, though, is our mask breaks were amazing. Kids were out, they were playing, and then over the summer we created a outdoor learning space so that the teachers can utilize that. We have a mindfulness walk and things like that. So there's different things for them to do. We have a couple portable classrooms that they could pop up if it's nice. So those are some of the things that we're going to try to do, make connections with kids, Dean.
Yeah, Spike, I'm listening to you talk, and I'm thinking about some of the things that we're looking to roll with, in our school, and it's really about reviving traditions. Josh, you mentioned all the time, keeping things real and keeping things focused on moving forward about what's special to the school. It just was so challenging to be able to have some of those traditions in previous years. And some of the kids, like you just mentioned, Spike, have never been in our buildings. Not just our transition year kids from last year who were part of our community, kids who are new to the district and moved in from neighboring school districts, letting them know who we are and what we stand for with engaging activities. So, we really want to get off the ground running and bring back some of those powerful experiences related to community. High Five Fridays with our local police department, local fire department, our senior high school mentors coming down with the drum line, greeting the kids as they get off the bus, being able to do those types of things. We want to hit that hard. We want the kids to understand that life in school is more than 750 to 220 bell to bell, and what happens there? We've got life, we've got culture beyond the school day that we want to get kids involved with, parents involved with, and extend the community center feel. Who knows what the regulations are going to tell us to do, whether we're going to be, wearing these or not mandatory. Bottom line is this, and Josh hit the nail on the head. Every kiddo, every student who comes through our doors needs somebody to advocate for their perspective, to make sure that they feel welcome, that they feel understood, and that they feel the love. And if we honor that by seeing a kiddo wearing a mask and we're around that kid and we toss the mask on, if we see kids who are unmasked and we're comfortable at taking our masks off if we're not required to, you know what? We got to go ahead and let them know that their opinion matters, their choice matters, and that they are a part of our school, and we will help guide them and advocate for their perspectives. We need to take the political decisions out of this and make sure that we're focused on the feeling, we're focused on the care, we're focused on the minds of every one of the individuals in our school.
Chris, and I just want to take it and run with it for 1 second, because as I'm looking at the next 3 weeks before students come back, we have a lot of room here to be able to really make connections. Like Spike said, we do have an orientation open house coming up for all new students and all incoming fifth graders. We have a food truck. We'll have music blaring. We'll do all the things that make your school that place. You don't want it just to be, I got to go there to do my math, ELA, social studies, and science and get some unified arts. I want it to be a place that they come and say, I love going here. So a couple other things that I'm looking to do right now. I sent out a personal interest survey to kids. How are you feeling? What can we do through a Google form? What can we do to meet you at your entry point prior to coming to school? I probably have half the student body already responded to that survey, telling me where they're at, how excited they are, and telling us where their anxiety is, where their trepidations are. And what we're doing with that is I'm going to have that to the counselors out in front. We're going to make those calls. I'm doing individualized personal tours for kids who are showing any signs of anxiety, letting them get in here. We have a scavenger hunt planned so the kids will be able to do their lockers and go through everything. All that stuff is super important to give the kids the foundation they need to be successful. So, and I know you guys probably think the same way that I do. That's setting the table up for them to be successful. And I'm going to use social media every Friday, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram, whether whatever. I'm going to throw it out there and just let them know that we're there for them. That's why we are at our school. Our kids deserve to hear that from every person, whether it's me, my assistant principal, whether it's the head custodian, the cafeteria workers, teachers, it doesn't matter. We're one learning community. And the more we push that out and the more we sell that, the stronger we are. Let's kick it down to Joe.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more with everything here. I took some notes and obviously put some check marks next to the things that we're going to be doing. Just getting the kids ready. And to be quite honest with you, it's just a matter of respecting the variables. And it also starts with the staff to make sure we're doing the same thing. We're not anyone different than the students are. We're all going through this together. And so I spoke to the staff very strongly about this last week. And I said, if your expectations are for A, B, and C, you can't excuse yourself from B because you're a staff member. We've got to do the same thing. And so we're going to really lead by example the best we can. But then I'm also going to ask my students to be leaders the best they can, and let us know when we're missing those boats. And to be honest with you, the surveys are great. The students do give you honest information. I really truly believe that, because they're not in a situation where they're gonna have to joke in front of their friends or act like a clown. When you put them in a survey and they get it on their Chromebook and they fill it out, you really do get some great responses and some things that you're not accustomed to. Treat the kids a little higher and they'll live there. You treat them a little higher and they'll rise to that occasion. That's just all I can say at this point in time. You treat them like a bunch of kids, they'll act like them. Okay, just my 2 cents. But I'm excited, man. I can't wait.
Good stuff, Jeremiah.
Yes, at Bussy Nation, our 2021-2022 word of the year is intentionality. We're intentional about reconnecting with the students and the community. That includes parents, stakeholders. I'll help paint a picture by a timeline. On July 27th, we had our 6th grade orientation that we call Hoop Camp, as our mascot is called the Owlets. Not only did we invite the 6th grade students, but as you guys mentioned, we had a lot of 7th and 8th graders that were virtual last year that we never met. But we invited them and their families as well to reconnect the students and the community. Fast forward to that Monday, August 2nd is the first day of school. We welcome the students into our building. We signed a commitment, and that's everybody in the building. We greet kids as they enter the building. During our transitions, we're greeting kids as they're walking by. We're not just being mannequins, but we're greeting the kids. We're saying hello. If we know the student's name, we're addressing them by name to give that personal touch. In the classroom, we're celebrating small successes. We're being intentional about that. And what I mean by that, we're not just saying great job, but we're saying great job. You specifically did this. And we're modeling expectations. Fast forward to this past Friday, August 6th. We didn't wait. So again, August 2nd was the first week of school. August 2nd, we had our back to school assembly. We told the kids it was assembly, but it was more of a pep rally. Listening audience, everyone listening audience, check a look at the pictures on Twitter at Busty Outlets. We had a good time, but it was all about celebrating the kids and welcoming them back, making them feel comfortable. And we had a really, really great turnout. And so next week, second week of school, we're not waiting. August 10th is Meet the Teacher. Again, we're giving another avenue, a platform to bring our community into the school to show all the great things that we're showcasing. But ultimately, it's about the students. So we're being intentional again about welcoming students, celebrating them in the classroom, outside of the classroom, how they behave in the common areas, the cafeteria, the hallways. And we're being very intentional by inviting the families into the building, because we can't forget about mom and dad that are choosing our campus, and it is our job. We have to be a good steward, be good leaders, and make sure that we're modeling what we want for our kids, what I'm modeling for my 3 kids.
Love it. David.
Yeah, I love what I'm hearing from you guys, and just one of the things that we're doing, and it's actually district wide, is we're really in our middle schools and high schools, we're really focusing on that SEL component, because 18 months is kind of what we're looking at. Some kids have not been in the campus for 18 months, and so them coming back, there have been a lot of parents that have come to us because their child has a lot of anxiety about the fear of coming back to the building. And again, one of the things that I'm using, you guys mentioned social media. With the pandemic, we started doing weekly newsletters to parents and informing them, doing videos, call outs, just giving them because I think it's important that we have our faculty aware of what's going on. We definitely want our kids, but we're also needing our parents. It's a two-way street. And so we definitely need them to be on board with that. So, we are hitting them in every single way that we can, so that nobody can ever say, I didn't know about something, and whether it's safety, whether it's, upcoming events. I mean, we are trying to go as much as we can forward with athletics, different types of UIL events. Our plan is to go forward. But the biggest thing is, again, being out there with the kids, saying hello. I'm relatively new to the campus. I have a new AP for my middle school, a new AP for my elementary school. So I've talked to them and said, we have to be out there. And that's not just with the teachers. That's not just with the kids. That's out in front when kids are being dropped off, when kids are being picked up, because we need to be able to be there, shake hands, fist bumps, whatever we have to do with our parents too, so that they know if there's a concern, if there's a problem, I know where I can go to find somebody that's going to help me out there. So I know that SEL is huge, but I think not just with kids, we also have to reassure our parents that things are going to be okay. And if they aren't, we're going to talk to them about how we're going to help make things better.
Well, that's that learning community we talk about, because we're all in this together. We're the constituents, the parents of the people that we're selling to, the kids, everybody. So great job with that. And that visibility is probably the number one biggest thing you can do, because that causes such a positive ripple. I get more feedback from that than anything else when we're out there greeting parents in the morning, or be the last people that are leaving in those parent lines, just so they have direct access to you. And one thing that I'm going to take, the multiple modalities of communication, huge. We do weekly email messages to parents, but we also do weekly email messages to kids, those who aren't on social media, who get the emails because they have that. That's a direct conduit to have any type of thematic message that you want. And it's just talking about planning, organization, you name it. I mean, you can do anything with the kids in that way. So huge. So let's kick it down to AJ. I don't save the best for last here.
Yeah, I mean, your guys' ideas are top notch, and we don't start until September, so we have some time to continue to be visible and let students know what's going on. And we're doing, Q&As for our fifth graders. We're doing Q&As for our new students. Our building right now, I'll be honest, is a mess, but in a mess because we're trying to really clean it up, make it look good. We're trying to move our desks around. We are redoing the front parking lot, so it doesn't look very welcoming. So we're trying to keep everything virtual right now, just so nobody's in the way of anything. But we are really trying to welcome the students as best we can. We are going to be using social media more. We're going to be doing the newsletters, but really for right now, it's just that one-on-one, even though over the computer, meeting with kids, getting questions answered. a lot of kids are asking us about masks, asked about lunch. We have new students who have never been in the building before. We have kids who haven't been in school since they were in 3rd grade, who are starting our building this year as 5th graders. So they're curious, they're nervous, and we're just trying to do our best to make sure that they know that they are welcome, that they can be comfortable. And we're going to do Q&A for the kids. We have Q&A for the parents coming up, and then we'll have our open house at the end of the month to get everybody ready for the school year, give them their schedules, let them take a look around the building. So we're excited for that. But, I think right now, because we have about a month to go, we're kind of keeping it slow, but we are definitely ready to hit the gas and get it moving.
Awesome. Yeah, Dean?
Yeah, just before we kick it over to Chris to end, just so everybody gets full disclosure, we got some great things coming up on Unlock the Middle, and I just want to talk about them very quickly. We do have an educators roundtable coming up with Joe Pizzo and Jennifer Ingold and a couple others. That's going to be coming out very soon, but we also are going to have an SEL roundtable as well. So some great things are going to be happening right around the corner. So make sure you're staying watching and stay tuned to what we have. Chris, kick it back to you.
Hey, you know what? We're ever evolving. And one of the most important things about this platform, Dean, and, thanks to David and Jeremiah for joining us tonight as 2 newbies willing to contribute. Joe, Spike, Josh, AJ, as always, if you're a leader out there watching this, either now or on replay down the line, and you don't have a connection to others from outside of your district, this is a reason we formed this platform, was to gain new ideas and also validate some of the things that we take for granted and we don't really understand the impact that we can have as leaders. We opened the show tonight talking about superpowers. And, one thing is for sure, if you're an educator, you've got a superpower. Whether you're a classroom teacher, a bus driver, you work in the front line in the cafeteria, you're in the classroom as a paraprofessional, or you're a 35-year veteran in the English language arts classroom. Whatever your modality of connecting with kids, you've got a superpower, and you've got the opportunity and the power to influence others for the better, whether they be kids or colleagues. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Chris Darcheski, principal at Dudley Middle School, alongside my great friend and colleague, co-host, Dean Packard, principal at Charlton Middle School. We are here for you, and we are here to learn from you. Everybody out there, keep on doing what you're doing. Those of you who still are on summer vacation, rest, recharge, and get those August dreams out of your heads for at least another week or so. I've had some doozies. Maybe that could be a future episode. Hey, be well, everybody. We are getting off the air now. We'll talk to you all really, really
Everybody
soon.
stay on, though.